Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Citi Prime News. We're coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Adjuatin Krama. Coming up, National Health Insurance Authority to refund patients who paid for dialysis treatment from June 1 under the age of 18 and above 60 category. Also coming up, members of the Locked Up Investment Forum resume picketing over government's delay in paying their funds.
If the suspension was made to enable us meet the ministry, and the ministry is not prepared to meet us, then there is no need still going on with the suspension.
Still in the bulletin, anti-corruption crusader Edem Senanu backs calls for accountability from the governor of the central bank over projects being embarked on by the Bank of Ghana.
The governor is to be held responsible, then to mean that Dr. Addison is not being accountable to the people of Ghana. And we must name him for it, that, look, he's refusing to be accountable.
And later, as the world marks Environmental Day today, environmental NGO Arocha Ghana is concerned about the deterioration in Ghana's forest reserves.
We have watched our lands, our rivers, every space that is supposedly serving as a source of health, providing us food, serving us water. We've allowed all of them to be contaminated.
We have details of these and more stories in the next 30 minutes. Remember, the bulletin is live around the globe on citinewsroom.com. On YouTube, you can find us on Citi Tube and on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM. Across the country, we're also live on a number of affiliates in the Western region. This is Premier 100.5 FM in Takoradi, Sky Power 93.5 FM, also in Takoradi, Beach 105.5 FM in Takoradi. In the Bono region, this is Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyang. In the Ashanti region, continue to Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Eastern region, Right 90.1 FM Somenya. In the Volta region, Holy 98.5 in Aplao. In the Northern region, Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the Upper East region, tune into Word 88.3 FM in Zwarungu. And in the Upper West region, Bugli Radio 88.6 in Wa. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
We're grateful for your company this afternoon. Let's begin on matters related to the National Health Insurance Scheme, and the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Dacosta Boaji, has assured kidney patients who paid for their dialysis treatment from Monday, 3rd June, of a full refund. It follows reports that kidney patients who visited selected hospitals for dialysis treatment either had to bear the cost of treatment or return home. Government, through the NHI, announced that effective June 1 to December 2024, renal patients below 18 years and above 60 years will receive all 8 dialysis sessions per month for free. The NHI also announced that kidney patients between 90 and 59 old will receive 2 free dialysis sessions per month. After touring the Kolebu Teaching Hospital on Tuesday, the NHI CEO charged all selected health facilities to comply with the directive while assuring patients who have already made payment of a full refund. In a related development, the Health Committee of Parliament has disclosed that the government owes the National Health Insurance Authority a total of 2.4 billion cedis in arrears from July 2023 to February 2024. The minority group on the Health Committee recently argued that the neglect of the scheme has pushed the NHIS into a critical financial state, posing a threat to its very existence. Now, addressing journalists after a closed-door meeting with the Finance Ministry and the Controller and Accountant General, Chairman of the Health Committee of Parliament, Dr. Uefri, assured of government's commitment to clear the outstanding arrears.
As of now, government owes about from July 2023 to February, that's about 2.4 billion. And then they have also made releases of almost about 700 million. So we are clear in our mind that if this releases and the strategy they've put forward progresses, it's most likely they will clear off this arrears. Arrears has been an issue in the social health finances space for a long period of time. But this committee, well, we work together, and it doesn't matter where the minority raise it or not. I mean, arrears is arrears. And we are not going to take advantage of whether it was in the previous. No, that is why we are oversight members. We are here to correct the wrongs as we see it. So the minority has raised it. It's become an issue of the committee. We've brought them together, and the roadmap is looking very good for us. So we are satisfied about this. And that is, I feel, if this goes on, then I feel satisfied that this is going to be more of a precedent and a good progress.
You heard the chairman of the Health Committee of Parliament, Dr. Ayu Efriye. Let's move away from that story now. And members of the Locked Up Funds Investment Holders Forum have resumed their public picketing, demanding the release of their locked up funds by the Finance Ministry. Last year, the investors received assurances from the Bank of Ghana that licenses of insolvent finance houses and savings and loans companies will be revoked based on the availability of funds from the Finance Ministry to settle them. Since then, they have organized a series of protests urging the ministry to provide the necessary funds. Following assurances from the Deputy Finance Minister, the group suspended the protest for 2 weeks. However, they have resumed picketing today due to a lack of further engagement from the ministry. Here's a convener of the group speaking to Citi News.
So he suspended it for 22nd and 29th. The Deputy Minister traveled, he came back. We were expecting him to call us for the meeting. We didn't hear anything. So last week, Thursday, which is tomorrow will be 1 week, I sent him a text message, one through SMS and one through WhatsApp, that we are waiting for him to call us for the meeting. And he should try and call that meeting before the next picketing term, which will be today. We haven't heard anything from him. So if the suspension was made to enable us meet the ministry, and the ministry is not prepared to meet us, then there is no need still going on with the suspension.
You heard Dr. Edu Ananienchi. He's a convener of the Locked Up Funds Investment Holders Forum. We do well to follow that protest and bring you updates in other bulletins. But away from that now, anti-corruption campaigner Adam Senanu has called on the Right to Information Commission to impress upon the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, to be accountable to Ghanaians on the bank's activities. The bank has come under intense scrutiny, particularly from members of the minority in parliament who insist the central bank is not being accountable in its dealings. MP for Boko Central Mahama Yargo on Monday filed an RTI request for information relating to the 10.5 billion losses incurred by the Apex Bank in 2023, as well as a full disclosure on the cost of some projects being embarked on. While speaking to Citi News, the co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Mr. Senanu, says the Bank of Ghana owes Ghanaians a responsibility of accountability.
It's good when there are people who are paying attention to particular sectors. And if the minority is asking questions of the Bank of Ghana, then as is required by any state institution, they have a responsibility to answer. And this is as if there have been several requests that the commission that's empowered to sanction, to question, needs to take up the issue. The RTI Commission itself needs to take up the issue. And it should be clear, therefore, that either the governor or his deputies or whoever is responsible for the sector, the subsector where they are requesting information from, is being unaccountable to the people of this country. And I think we need to name and shame if possible. Well, then the governor is to be held responsible. Then to mean that Dr. Addison is not being accountable to the people of Ghana. And we must name him for it, that, look, it's refusing to be accountable. And the likelihood, therefore, is that something is being hidden.
Adam Senanu has also been commenting on investigations into bribery allegations against a member of parliament for Kwadaso, Kingsley Nyako. The MP, in a viral video during the Ejisoba election, was seen placing a white envelope on the table in front of officials of the Electoral Commission, sparking claims of monetary inducement for votes in the elections. More than a month after the Electoral Commission forwarded the case to the police for investigation, no update has been given. Well, Adam Senano, in an interview with Citi News, said the police and the Office of the Special Prosecutor need to provide answers on the status of the investigations.
Those institutions up front, what is the status of the investigation? I mean, that I've raised this, I probably will ask those I know at the OSP what is going on. Is there any update on what you found out so far? So my first instance is just to find out what's transpired. And if they have, I do know that the OSP is supposed to report to citizens every 6 months. And so I can't remember when the last one was done. If it was January, then by July, which is next month, they will have to provide an updated report on all the key issues they are working on. So probably worst case scenario means that it is relevant.
Adam Senano is a co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. Now, a former chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Samuel Ofuswampofo, says he is confident he will be vindicated in the ongoing trial against him and some others over a leaked audio. Ofuswampofo and a former NDC Deputy National Communications Officer, Anthony Kwekubuahin, are standing trial for conspiracy to commit assault against a public officer and assault against a public officer. In an interview on Channel 1 TV's face-to-face show hosted by Umaru Sanda, Amadou Miso Ofuswampofo denied any wrongdoing, citing his clean record in politics since 1993. Now, away from that, the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS, has asked the Electoral Commission to establish centers on university campuses across the country. This move is to help students transfer their votes from campus to their original constituencies. Speaking to Citi News, President of NUGS, Daniel Oponchweme, explained that given the packed nature of students' itineraries, most of them are unable to visit the EC offices for the transfer.
As stated in Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution, for every Ghanaian who is above 18 and above and is very sound in mind should be given an opportunity or the right to. And we feel processes leading to this, the full materialization of the Article 42 should be free and very fair and not limited to certain group of people. So now with the transfers, you notice that most of our students are on the various university campuses and various tertiary institutions, I must say. So what that we are trying to do is we are requesting for the establishment of a vote transfer centers on the tertiary institution, because a chunk of our youth are in the various tertiary institutions, and we want the EC to have centers on the various university campuses so that most of our students, now as we speak, most of our students are writing their midterm, level 400s, working on their projects and all that. So going back and coming in is going to be very problematic with the transfer, especially with the centers. Some of us live as far as northern region and school in Ashanti region. You live and lectures is ongoing, midterm is ongoing, project work and all the.
You heard Daniel Oponchweme. He's the president of the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS. This is still the Citi Prime news stories we've been bringing you so far. The NHIA has assured to refund patients who paid for dialysis treatment from June 1 under the age of 18 and above the age of 60 category. Also, members of the locked up investment firm have resumed picketing over government delay in paying their funds. When we return, we'll bring you the story of an environmental NGO, Arocha Ghana, which is expressing deep concern over the deteriorating state of the country's environmental reserves. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Are you a JHS student in Ghana? Are you a wordsmith with a passion for development? Do you have a way with words that captivates and inspires? If so, then join the Literacy Challenge 2024 now. The nationwide search for the most outstanding junior high school students in Ghana is on. Do you think that it could be you who goes home with 10,000 1,000 Ghana cities and a glitzy trophy? Then, in not less than 600 words, write about the role of the youth in shaping the future of Ghana. What changes would you like to see? And how can young people contribute to making them happen? Script must be in your own handwriting. Script must be endorsed by a parent or guardian. Add your full contact details. Deadline, Saturday the 13th of July, 2024. Submit entries to the front desk of Channel 1 TV or Citi FM, or send it to P.O. Box GP 14123 Accra Central. For inquiries, call 0205 973 973. The Literacy Challenge 2024 is powered by 97.3 Citi FM, supported by Channel 1 TV, and is sponsored by Ghana National Gas Company, Alive Soap, Fortune Spread, and Ribby Biscuits by M4 Foods.
Without access to basic services such as water, sanitation, and hygiene, people are vulnerable to water shortages, diseases, and malnutrition. Water, sanitation, and hygiene services can improve people's resilience to climate change. This election, ask your favorite politicians about their plans for tackling climate change and improving access to water, sanitation, and hygiene. Let this define who you vote for. At WaterAid, we believe in the future where our leaders prioritize climate change, water, sanitation, and hygiene. Your vote can make this possible.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Thank you for staying. Now let's bring you some more stories. An environmental conservation group, Arocha Ghana, has expressed deep concern over the deteriorating state of the country's environmental reserves, warning of significant harm to future generations. The issues are rising as Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark World Environment Day, a global event dedicated to assessing the health of the environment and promoting actions to protect it. Speaking to Citi News, Arocha Ghana's Deputy National Director Darrell Bosu highlighted the urgent need for attention as Ghana's environmental issues, describing the current situation as alarming.
The manner in which we have exposed these lands also to other illegal activities like mining, real estate, and even converting our wetlands into fuel stations along highways and all of that. So I think for me, I feel that we have not done well as stewards of the environment. Where we are now is more a time for us to start taking steps to restore all the damage we have done. Otherwise, I don't see a future for the generation that is going to come after us. We have washed our lands, our rivers, every space that is supposedly serving as a source of health, providing us food, serving us water. We've allowed all of them to be contaminated. And so there's no quality in the kind of environment we are experiencing right now. And if anybody says otherwise, the person will not be speaking true to what is really happening.
Darrell Bosu is also calling for a robust action from all stakeholders to ensure that the little reserves left are protected.
What we need to do is to start really making sure that all these entities who are the drivers of the environmental destruction and the depletion that we are seeing are responsible for the damage they are causing. That is one. Secondly, the areas that are being destroyed already are forests and rivers and all of that. And so I think it is right that government takes steps. And I say government because they control our resources. They have all the various state agencies supervise a lot of these entities. They must start taking steps to make sure that our rivers are cleaned up and restored to its former glory and quality.
You heard the Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana, Darrell Bosu. Now to some education stories. Education think tank Africa Education Watch has endorsed the Ministry of Education's plan to terminate parts of the contract with Lifted Logistics Limited for providing free Wi-Fi for schools. This follows reports that over 50 schools lack internet connectivity despite a payment of 56 million Ghana cedis for the service under the Wi-Fi for Schools program. Senior Programs Officer at the Africa Education Watch, Divine Perry, treated calls for investigation into the matter in an interview with Citi News.
When we did our study last year, it was one of the recommendations that we made that the ministry should consider termination of contracts if possible, so that we can have value for money. And beyond that, we make the call for the Auditor General to audit the entire project. If the ministry is considering terminating the contract, or if it's part of the contract, to establish that where schools are not having their Wi-Fi functioning, that part of the contract can be terminated. That is welcome. If this internet cannot streamline the system to ensure that we have value for money, the schools are well connected to the internet, such that the internet is serving the purpose for which they have been installed for, then termination should not be something that we should be worried about. But again, I think that beyond the termination, it's very important that a grand investigation by the Auditor General into the whole project be carried out.
Divine Pay is the Senior Programs Officer at the Africa Education Watch. Now, commuters using the Bimbilla-Chikaji Road to reach communities in the overseas area fear for their lives due to the poor condition of boats and canoes on the Oti River. The state of the canoes is alarming, as the boats and canoes not only suffer from water leakage but also have weak engines that struggle to start when passengers are on board. The absence of life jackets and frequent overloading of the boats exacerbate the danger to passengers' lives. Our Northern Regional Correspondent Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira investigates the safety of passengers crossing the river.
The Chichagi Road is the shortest route from Bimbilla to communities and districts in the eastern part of the country and to neighboring Togo. However, travelers must cross the Oti River near Bangdeyilu using canoes and boats. Last year, City News reported the lack of life jackets for passengers crossing the river. In response, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, from the Zabzugu district provided about 100 life jackets to boat operators. Currently, the situation has worsened. The condition of the boats and canoes has deteriorated significantly, putting passengers' life at risk. Operators overload the boats with motorbikes, goods, and passengers. The boats leak, causing water to flood in, and children are often seen scooping water out of the canoes. The wood under the boats is rotten, and operators use plastics to cover some parts. When fully loaded, the operators struggle to start the engines. Sometimes the boat reaches the middle of the river before the engines start, leaving passengers in fear. Some passengers have spoken to City News expressing their fears and urging the government to consider constructing a bridge over the river to improve their safety and ease of travel.
We don't feel how the boat is because we are risking our life there. In fact, we need help. If they could help us to maintain the boat for us. It needs new boat and then machine too. If they could help us to put bridge, or if there's no time for bridge, they should get us new boat and then life jackets. If we get life jackets too, it will save our lives.
Here we have a lot of challenges. This canoe and the boat, I don't feel comfortable with passing there because you see the stream is very big. Like we have a bridge. It would have been nice. Like I wanted to stop here, but when I stop here, the person I'm sending to Bimbilla, he will not get means to go there. Like it was brilliant. He would get means from my Warabogu to pass to Bimbilla. So we are appealing. They should take the canoe and the boats all and check and see how to do so that we get bridge to cross here easy. Well, crossing water with canoe or boat is so difficult.
Teachers who work in communities on the other side of the river cross daily. Some have told City News that they sometimes miss school due to fear of the unsafe boats.
The boat is not even good for us. Always when we are crossing, we not get to the middle and there's full of water in it. And we are suffering all the time when we are to cross here.
Comparing the boat to this canoe, it's better when you take this canoe to cross. It's better than the boat because the state of the boat is unbearable. Wow. Looking inside the canoe, the boat, all the wood that they used to make it, it has rot. And this time, when you are inside, it's shaking. It's shaking. In fact, we are risking our life here. Always we pass here, we cross here to school, day in and day out.
The life jackets provided are now absent on the boats. The jackets became dirty and have not been washed or replaced. The boat operators who declined to speak on camera informed Citi News that the chief of Chichage has ordered a new boat which will soon replace the current one. Interestingly, the Nanumba South District, which should be responsible for the boat, does not collect any revenue from the operators. Citi News has learned that the assembly does not control the boat. Instead, the chief of Chichage is in charge, but maintenance is a challenge. On market days, operators can earn over 5,000 Ghana cedis, whilst on regular days, they make between 500 and 1,000 Ghana cedis.
The state of the canoes are such in a terrible state, especially the boats. It leaks all over, and whenever the boat is on the water, children have to be inside, scooping the water out of it. We are here, they are making an appeal that if government could consider putting bridge over this river, it will go a long way to help not only the commuters, but business in general. Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira, reporting for Citi News from Chichage, Riverside.
Well, and back here in the studio, my name is Ajwatin Kramadom. Earlier, we brought you a story about the members of the Locked-Up Funds Investment Holders Forum who have resumed their public protest demanding the release of their locked-up funds by the Finance Ministry. We understand that the ministry is currently engaged in a meeting with leaders of the group to address their concerns. Stay with Citi 97.3 FM for details in our subsequent bulletins. Away from that, the Chief Executive Officer of MTN Ghana, Stephen Blewett, has announced the company's commitment to constructing container-based learning facilities to support teaching and learning in rural communities across the country. This announcement was made during the launch of MTN's 30 Days Yellow Care as part of the company's 30th anniversary celebrations held at MTN House in Accra. In his address, Mr. Blewett said this initiative would enhance digital innovation within these communities.
We have to build our young people, and this is part of that. In the 2024 edition of 30 Days of Yellow Care, we will provide amenities and educational facilities in line with this digital focus to bring innovation to the doorstep of all those schools who need it, those deprived schools. This will demonstrate the limitless boundaries of technology and opportunities it presents. The more people have access to technology, the more people develop. That's a fact, that's been proven. So with the objective of expanding and equipping schools, in this 30 Days of Yellow Care, we will set up container-based learning facilities equipped with computers, internet access, textbooks, supplementary reading materials. We will also provide storybooks and learning materials in selected schools to enhance teaching and learning.
You have the Chief Executive Officer of MTN Ghana, Stephen Blewett. Now, Kofi Ampoma, who lost his 3-year-old son in an accident involving Actor Lowen, is scheduled for surgery to treat a broken leg sustained in the crash. Despite the immense grief over his child's loss, Mr. Ampoma remains hopeful of a swift recovery from his injury following the collision with Lowen's vehicle.
No, it's better than before. It's better. The body is responding for the treatment for now. At the moment, I can't walk unless I use the stick, but it's getting better for now. I can't walk. The doctor said there will be a surgery. They said 2 weeks' time, so I'm waiting for that time. I'm so grateful for those around me.
You heard Kofi Ampoma. He's the father of the 3-year-old boy who died in an accident involving actor Kojo Nkansa, popularly called Lowin. Now, 2 persons, including a journalist, have sustained injuries at the EC Voter Transfer Center in Yendi following a clash between supporters of the NDC and the NPP. The clash occurred after members of the NDC prevented some persons who they believed were being brought in from Tamale for the voter transfer exercise. Manager of Sakara Radio in Yendi, Mohammed Suhini Saharan, who was at the center to observe the process, was also a victim of the clash, and he has been speaking to City News.
Yesterday at about 3:30 p.m., I went to the Electoral Commission's office in Yendi constituency to observe and also report on the ongoing voter transfer exercise. So upon arrival, as of yesterday, there wasn't a directive yet to allow party agents to have access to the place. So the gate was locked. So when I arrived, I was introducing myself to the police at the gate, and whilst at it, I heard voice of the Member of Parliament shout my name.
You heard Mohammed Suhini, is the manager of Yendi-based Sakara Radio, who is